it's kind of hard for both Ryan and I to, accept what's really happened here.
Yeah, it is a
Doug,
little hard to accept.
this is your podcast. We're dedicating it to you. Since you have completely won this league over and over 40% of the time you've been here, almost 50%, you have dominated the league. You have shown that you have what it takes to be at the top, to have your own Discord label of four-time champ. Not anyone else can say that, and congratulations. You deserve it.
Yeah, man, you deserve all the praise right now. I mean, across the last 11 years that we can track, you have four titles. So you're just every other year basically. It's
Yeah, that's
pretty hard
that's unbelievable.
pretty hard to keep up with that. And it's interesting looking at how he's done it too, because he's only made the playoffs the last 11 years five times. In those five playoff appearances, he has four titles.
Made the most of it. Uh,
Definitely made the most of all of his opportunities, that's for sure.
and we have a very interesting situation in the league where Corey was battling him in that playoff game. Corey had beat him early in what? Would you say it was 2012?
It was 2012. It was Corey versus Doug, and Corey beat Doug by 1.6 points.
Yeah,
So we're talking
1.6
20
points.
yards on the football field that Doug lost a championship in. So in reality, just one play or one tackle away from Doug being a five-time champ.
Yeah, and that's nuts. I still can't believe it. I'm still in shock.
If
I
he
was
would have won
hoping
that,
Corey would win
he'd been
this.
5 for 5.
Yeah,
Which is just
that's a
wild.
hell of a batting average. Um, he he's owned us up. I think there was a year where he what took J.J. Watt first round. Was it J.J. Watt?
It was J.J. Watt, and then I'm not sure that the second pick was a defensive lineman either, but he also drafted Justin Houston in that draft. And that
Oh yeah,
year, those
Justin
two were
Houston
number
took
were
off
number
that
one and
year.
number two with sacks, and we had sacks like double what
Turn
they are
up
now.
like 5 points, I think.
Yeah, pretty
No, it was
much
three
double what
point.
they are
It was
now.
3 points plus bonuses based on yards and all kinds of shit. It ended up being like 5 point averages per sack.
And he recognized that in our scoring more so than
Mm-hmm.
the rest of us did. Drafted accordingly. I mean, I wouldn't say he drafted accordingly because the year that we're talking about is J.J. Watt's historic. I think he has the most sacks in the season. It was that
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah, it
And
was
then
almost
Justin Houston,
unstoppable.
and then Justin Houston that same year had enough sacks that I believe he's in the top 10 in history. And he had both of them. So it was a little bit of our scoring being kind of different and most of us not being prepared for it, and then him drafting like the two best players he possibly could have. So, but kudos to him, he nailed it
Nailed it.
this
Absolutely
season.
nailed it. Couldn't have done any better. Look, his team was nothing special all year. Like
He was
he
0
has
and 3
nine
to
wins.
start.
At the beginning of the year, he was 0-3, like Ryan just said. There's no shot we gave him. I remember at one point saying Doug's done. I think I even
Uh,
put a fork in him or
we
whatever,
both
on that one
put a
podcast.
fork in Leroy and Doug. We were like, they're both done. There's no
Oh
way. You
yeah,
can't. Not in
you
our
can't
league. You
come
can't
back
come
from 0 and
back
3 in our
from
league.
oh. There's no way. We're too
Well,
competitive.
Kenneth
Stand
Walker the
corrected.
third changed that for Doug. Uh,
Hmm.
we see it every year. A running back gets picked up that no one's really expecting, an offense that no one's expecting to do much. Um, the Seahawks were that, and Kenneth Walker showed everybody that he could be that bell cow that changes fantasy leagues, and we didn't put enough money on him. We should have taken him from Doug. Next year, it's a priority for me to make sure that Doug doesn't get the running backs that will take him into these playoff runs. I really don't see a whole lot on Doug's team that says, oh, championship besides Travis Kelce and Devontae Adams. And then,
Hmm.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb's pretty special, too.
Let's say CeeDee Lamb. So it's interesting you said like Kenneth Walker and he's the one that took him there, and he is. But when Doug drafted his team, he went zero RB like I did.
So,
So
a
his
zero RB has taken over the league and won this year. I don't
correct.
believe it. And I
I
think
made the
it.
playoffs with it, and he won a championship with it.
So you can bury the RB heavy league that Loeb was, and we are now on to a new era. And I think it's due to the way we've been putting our points out there, and the way we've been uh, willing to change the points every year to make it a little bit more even per player. And I think what we have done here is maybe eliminated that complete dominance of the RB.
I semi agree with what you're saying. I don't think RBs are as fantasy value like as heavy hitting in fantasy in our league anymore as they were maybe 4 years ago. But I also think there's a another variable of how our league lobe drafts because RB
Yeah.
heavy teams have won so consistently in the past. Like you go just back 3 years ago, and then you look 7 years beyond that. That 7 year stretch there, it's just whoever has the best two RBs or the best three RBs, they just pretty much win. But I feel like we all got we all kept seeing that, and we were like, okay, draft RB sooner. And we got so carried away with drafting RBs in the first, second, and third round collectively that it allowed someone who was willing to take a chance to go, I'm not going to touch the running back, to literally get a wide receiver that was going to finish number two, a wide receiver that's going to finish number eight, and another one that's going to finish number three.
Yeah.
So if you can get three receivers that all finish in the top 10, as Doug has proven, it really doesn't matter who your running backs are because those will carry you just as strong as two running backs will. But you got to hit on those three wide receivers, and that's a little bit of where my zero RB build fell apart. I only hit on my first two receivers. My third one was Michael Pittman. He ended up being a bust. So I was all season trying to figure out a flex to really play. Also trying to find RBs that made sense for my team.
Yeah, so what we've moved on to your screen, and we're showing your screen. Do you have any special numbers for us? I know you've been cooking up some juicy topics for us on your side over here.
Oh, I wanted to talk about the road that got Doug him his title.
Oh yes,
So in
please.
so in week 15 is where we left off on the podcast, and what people needed the most because everyone was tied for the last spot, the fourth spot in the playoffs. It was a tie between Ben, Corey, Eric, and I think that's it. Those three were tied, and Corey, Ben, and and Jimmy. I'm sorry, and Jimmy too. They all needed you to beat Derek. Was on a hot streak of 3 games won. You were putting up like season low numbers consistently leading up to week 15.
That I was.
It looked like, guys, there's no way Derek's gonna get this because he's gonna beat Cruz,
Mm-hmm.
and you three are just out. Sorry about your luck. And what happens right here? Week 15,
My team goes
Cruz
off.
plays Derek, and Cruz's team just goes off. Has the best week of his season at 180 points. Truly kicks Derek out of the playoffs.
Hmm.
Lets Corey into the playoffs. Okay, so let's go to week 16 now.
And
We're in
Derek had a
playoffs.
hell of a game. He put up a hell of a fight.
Oh yeah,
I was like, I'm gonna leave my best guys out there because I don't want a really high pick. So
right.
I've actually gained a later pick because of that win, which I was trying to get.
Right. Which you wanted more, so you're closer to that
Hmm.
turn. It makes sense to me too. I would want that as well. So when we go to week 16, Corey plays our number one seed, Jason, because he barely got in the playoffs. He beats him. Right. Taxman played me, and he beat me pretty easily. Interesting is look at Derek. Derek would have beat any of the four playoff teams.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek. This was your
Oh,
year.
If Derek would have beat you, he would have advanced to the championship round. Let's see what he had done in the
Ooh,
championship round. This
ouch.
championship round, Derek scores 168 points. The
Oh,
championship game was 131 to 162. Derek won LOBE this season. Had it not been for Cruz beating him in week 15 and kicking him out of the
oh,
playoffs. So
this is hell of a fucking
Cruz, you
story here.
single-handedly, congratulations, you single-handedly destroyed all the dreams,
Derek's
hopes
seasons.
that
Yeah,
Derek could
oh,
have
his
possibly
hopes
had.
and dreams here in Loeb.
You shattered them all.
His first chance to really get onto the trophy and
Yeah.
supplant that big golden plate that we put on there,
Hmm.
solid gold, because that's all we order on this trophy. If you've seen
That's
the
right.
trophy, it's up there on our webpage somewhere. I'm sure we post a lot of it. If not, it'll probably be on the thumbnail of this video. Because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the road to the championship here in Loeb, and man, Derek, I am sorry. I am sorry for your loss that I gave you early at week 15 that took you out of the champion or the playoffs and I mean, at the end of the day, took you away from your first championship that you would have won. I gotta say, it feels good actually.
Yes.
It feels great. It feels great, but I'm still saddened that I let Doug win this. I'm still
Uh,
saddened. At least,
yeah, yeah, I get you. I'm sad that Doug got that fourth championship too. His name's on the trophy, in gold plated trophy, too many times.
I might have to take
But
that back, Derek. I do kind of feel bad. Yeah, I
I
feel
don't know.
bad.
If I was in your boots, seeing what I just discovered, I would be pretty happy too. I'd be like,
Dude,
"That's
I'm
right."
proud of my team. God damn it.
I'm proud of him. Right at the last second, my team just snatched victory right out of
They put
somebody's
up the best
hands.
points they've had all year. They finally did something. It showed like, oh, I did actually have a decent team. They just weren't showing up.
But yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
overall, this whole season, I thought it's been a really great season. I'm not just saying that because I made the playoffs and stuff, but
no, yeah, this really has been.
collectively,
I think through all the way to the bottom team, even Leroy, and Kirk. You guys were
yeah.
the worst, I believe. You guys put a hell of a end of the season. Everybody stayed active, and
Hmm.
um, the Discord was chirping a lot all year. It was great. I hope we keep the chirping up in the Discord so we can make some positive changes to the league this year and maybe get some improvements. Improvements come from
Hmm.
changes, so if you guys are over there and saying, "No, don't change it," we are trying to improve, and that's what it takes.
Right. We're a very flexible league too. Like we're not afraid to make a change one year, and if it didn't work out, something weird happened, we didn't like something, we'll change it back. But
We've done some crazy things. We've had keepers go up one keeper every year plus one until
hmm
everybody hated it.
yeah,
Cause
and it turned into too much of a dynasty that people didn't want to have to manage.
yeah, and we did that for what, 5 years,
I think yeah, like five.
and it was hard for us to stop that tradition of adding one more keeper every year. But
Hmm.
at some point we did make the change, and I think that was for the better. And now every year we start a fresh plate.
Right.
Someone doesn't get
We
to keep
also,
Calvin Johnson every single year and be a total asshole. Calvin
yeah,
Johnson's.
you,
Yeah, that was me.
that
I
was you, that was
absolutely
you.
was not letting that dude go. Made it to the playoffs like every year with him.
Yeah, it's because he's a monster. He was a Megatron, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I that's what we're talking about. We're making some improvements. We're here to get better. The league, I think this year was the best showing we've ever had, and we
I
keep
was gonna
saying
say
that
that.
every year. It feels like.
I agree with that, but that means we're making good progress because
Hmm.
not that we ever want to kick a team out, but in the
Right.
years past, if you're a team that it comes week 16 and you're out of the playoffs and you just don't set a lineup, like that's not what we're after. We're after
Yeah.
someone that every week. I mean, it maybe some people think it kind of sounds bad, but I like spoiling someone's playoffs like you did for Derek. Like
Yeah.
I
I
love that feeling of like, yeah, I might have been out of it, but I'm still in it to make sure you don't win.
yeah.
Like
I
I like that competitiveness
I
in my league.
almost had that feeling of like, oh, maybe I tank for a better pick, but I don't want a really high first round pick. That's pretty much not my draft strategy. Never have had a really high pick like that. Especially in LOBE, I like to double down on my running backs, and that's hard to do when you get the first
Hmm.
round pick.
And to speak truth into your point there, you've made the playoffs 7 years of the last 11. So
Yeah,
like, yeah, you're always in the back end of the drafts where you've drafted the most
I feel
more times than
confident
not, and
around
you feel
there.
comfortable,
Yeah,
and you keep making playoffs. So I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I've also, I mean, we're
let's
talking
keep the
about our
league
history here.
competitive all the way through. I mean, even if you're 0 wins, like might as well get that first win. And why not do it on the guy who has the most points in your league? At least
Yeah,
look
and
your
show
team.
so that you know what's going on. So
You're doing
yeah, like
something.
you were saying, overall, this year has been amazing. I Everyone is super competitive. Everyone's on the ball, and even while saying that, I know there's some teams like Corey's where he really only focused in on like Sundays, would let waivers. So there's even little things that people can do, and our league will get even more competitive, which sounds
Wow.
even
To think
another
that
layer of
Corey made it all
intensity,
the
man.
way, which only focusing on Sundays is impressive.
If you look at his team, he had like no injuries happen till the very last week when Hurts got hurt. So
Oh
he
my.
was. I'm not trying to take anything away from Corey. He played a good season, but he also didn't have what most teams have, where people are just getting hurt left and right, and you have to make all these adjustments, and you're trying to win big on waivers. Like he used all of his waiver points, I think, in like week 4. So he didn't have any budget, so he just stopped worrying about Wednesdays. 'Cause
Damn.
he even told me he figured like I'm not gonna win them, so not gonna
So
worry about it.
imagine how good his team could have been if he was active all year. And
I
that's maybe
mean,
something for Corey to take out of this is, you know, you maybe put one more day of the week on Wednesday or not Wednesday, Tuesday when everybody's trying to put their waiver claims in. And imagine how good Corey's team could have been. Um,
hmm
Jeez. So that's something for maybe Corey to take into, and maybe some of you others who maybe you were waiting on Sunday to do a waiver claim. Tuesday's a day. You want to do that on Tuesday. We're all putting in waiver claims. It'll be active. It'll be fun. You can put in your bid um, for that player, and we all bid up on it. Um,
blind
let's
bid, so we don't know what's going on.
let's uh let's take a look at what the rest of the group kind of ended the season at. Can you go to the league real quick, like ranking wise? This is what we ended up with. So this will be the draft. Uh,
Oh, you want
Pick.
so they haven't quite completed the what would be our draft order, but we can figure
Okay,
it
yeah,
out
right, because that would
on the
include
fly.
playoffs up until up until. Oh yeah, because it would include playoffs. How does that work? Is it just the top
So
six play teams change and the bottom ones aren't going to change any because they didn't play that last 2 weeks?
I believe so. I don't think it takes in consideration the consolation bracket.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
I'm
maybe
not
just go to
100%
standings real
sure.
quick and we can figure it out. I just kind of want to get an
So
idea. And that,
so the yeah, okay, I'm with you. The first
I'm
pick next year should be Kirk
yeah, first picks Kirk for sure, and then it
and
goes
Leroy,
Leroy, yeah, and then
Isaac,
Isaac,
Tom
Tom, and then myself,
at the
Ben.
fifth pick.
You know, it's crazy. Ben and I are always back to back on. It's either me or you, or me,
Mm-hmm.
Ben, or you, or always back to back. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like we're always stuck like next to like ah. And the reason,
We had
if
the
people
same
want to know
season
why that's
outcome, you know.
semi frustrating for us to like we're like ah crap, we're always next to each other, is because all three of us generally in history have had the same kind of build of a team. So there was always these sniping things that would happen.
Oh yeah.
Now, this past season, I jumped ship and went zero RB. So, and I avoided that because I was right next to Ben. I was literally pick 11. He was pick 12. And I'm like, well, I know what Ben's going to do. So I'm going to take receiver. He took double running back, which lets me take another better receiver. So, but anyways, that was this past season. So it'll be the sixth pick and Jimmy and Derek, then myself, because I
Mm.
got fourth. And then Jason, Corey will be in the 11th spot, and then obviously our
Okay,
champion
so
will
it's
be
just a
the
mix
12th
up of the
pick.
last 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I Yeah, this is our draft order basically. That's gonna be interesting this next year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to thank everybody again for really a hell of a year. I really can't believe Jason didn't win it this year. This was your year, Jason. 4 losses this year in a league that was stupid competitive. Doug and Corey making it to the championship with 8 wins and 9 wins, respectively,
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. Just crazy, because you and man, just look at Jimmy had the most points in the league, and it was only 7 wins.
Yeah.
Just
Sorry, I just
shows
moved off of it. But yeah, right
everything is
there shows that
so
like
crazy this year.
things can just get very wild very quick. I mean, this is just unfortunate. Look how many points against.
Oh, his points against. He's most points for and most points against. Jimmy, sorry for your loss this year. This was your year too.
You got
So
two
many
awards, and
people.
one of them you didn't
It should have been
deserve.
your year, but guess who came and took it from you? Doug. Remember that next year when you're trying to draft and Doug's right over there. Think about, what is Doug gonna draft? What is he
And
thinking?
take it,
And
steal
snipe
it,
that
take all
player
the
from him.
Cowboys, have CeeDee Lamb.
That's what I tried to do this year. I was like, oh,
That's what our goal should
who's
be.
Doug
I'm
wanting?
setting a new LOBE goal for the. I'm gonna announce it pre-draft. Hey, the only goal I want is don't let Doug have CeeDee Lamb in the first round. Okay, guys,
Don't
he's
let
the
Doug
12th pick.
have anybody. In fact,
Any,
we're gonna take all the
any.
players before Doug gets them. Next year, it's collusion, baby. Collusion all the way to the top. We don't
Oh,
care. We don't care.
I got
It'll
I got
be
another
alright.
brilliant idea. Maybe
As
we
long as
skip
Doug and
collusion.
Leroy stop winning this league, I'll be happy. We're gonna take that whole feeling
That's
right at the
true.
top, vibe it to the top.
It's true. In 11 years between those two, they have 7 championships.
Oh, you all should be disgusted. Y'all should
Mm.
try to get me more championships. Send me your best players. Give me your best trades. Think about it. We can work it out. This has been a
Uh,
Lobe podcast. It's Cruz and Ryan. We wish you a happy new year. And join us for more Lobe. This isn't where it ends for the year. We're gonna do more content. We'll have
oh,
more
we
out.
got plenty of off-season stuff to talk about.
Lots of off-season Lobe talk. Lots of off-season Lobe talk. We look forward to having you. Hit the like, subscribe, join us for more.